reassuring. You got a Betatron man talking that foreign. Ah yeah, oh yeah.
Cool.
Hi, my name is Jeff Maiorino. I am the general manager at Triple B Clay's Shotgun Sports Park in South El Monte. And I am going to tell you a little bit about Zach Kienbaum, the California State Sporting Clays champion 5 years running and Zone 7 champion 4 years running.
So, Jeff, what is Sporting Clays?
Sporting Clays is known as Golf with a Shotgun. It was brought over from the UK in the mid-80s, probably like 1983. California was one of the states that really helped launch the sport in the United States. Basically what you have is it's a combination of many disciplines of shooting. We have skeet, we have trap, there's feed task. Skeet and trap, well, let me start with trap. Trap targets come out of a house that just go away from you. Skeet, you have a high house and a low house and the targets cross. So Sporting Clays gives you a combination of all of those targets.
Jeff, how do you like working with Zach?
I like working with Zach. It's a little difficult. We are very good friends, so it comes a challenge, sometimes mixing business and pleasure. I'm basically the adult of the relationship and Zach's the kid, so it makes it really hard.
So, Jeff, how is Zach as a coach?
There's a lot of shooters out there that are just great shots, and a lot of guys that are champions that don't have the technique that Zach does when it comes to teaching. Takes a lot of patience, a lot of level-headedness, which Zach does have.
So we learned to shoot leads.
His technique when teaching people, from beginners all the way up through master class shooters, he can take a different approach to each person, which makes him a great instructor. He also makes it fun to be out there shooting. That's the whole goal of this sport, is to make it fun. So he's a great instructor.
I'm Zach Kienbaum, 32 years old, live in Huntington Beach, California, born and raised in Salinas, California. Club pro at Triple B Clays, South El Monte, California.
So, Zach, what's with your hat?
It's a Giants hat, San Francisco Giants.
Why do you like to wear it all the time?
My favorite baseball team growing up, and they're the world champions.
He became a fan last year after they won the World Series.
Not true.
Before that, he was a Yankee fan.
Not true. At all.
I'm having a hard time because I look at this Play Shooting magazine and I look at the world champion, 18-time world champion, George Digweed, and I have a hard time determining whether Zach is better than George. And Zach's great. He's a great shooter.
Well, Zach, are you better than George?
No.
No, that's like...
So I should be doing a documentary on George then.
Here, go to York, please.
So, Jeff.
Yes.
Why did I do my documentary on Zach and not George?
Well, George Digweed is a champion from the UK. He's not an American hero like Zach is. Although I showed you that cover before of George, here's Zach's cover from Clay Shooting USA,
wow,
that I had a lot to do with. Zach, how old were you and what inspired you to start shooting?
The youngest of 4 children, and think my dad had a little more time and money to spend with me as far as hunting and shooting. My dad was a huge hunter. And I mean, I think I had a BB gun in my hand probably when I was 6 or 7 years old. My dad discovered the game of sporting clays, clay target shooting, around 1990, and I think his third time ever going, I went along, and I've been shooting ever since.
Did you shoot in that competition with your dad?
The second round of sporting clays I ever shot was a tournament.
And how did you do?
Competing since day one.
How'd you do your first tournament?
That's kind of funny. I think I was 11 or 12 years old. I shot 45 out of 100 my very first time.
So your best score?
So I was a little cocky, probably going in. I remember shooting with another kid, and he actually beat me. I shot 32 out of 100 the second time I ever shot in an event, and I think he shot 36 or 37 and I lost.
Did you feel a little discouraged after that, or you kept moving forward?
No, I kept at it. It was fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Always sporting clays, never any other disciplines?
Pretty much sporting clays till probably 3 or 4 years ago when I moved to Southern California and started teaching at Triple B full time. I shot a few trap shoots and some skeet events and did well.
Most of the other shooters, did they always all start in sporting clays, or a lot of them started in trap and skeet and then moved over?
Older people probably started in skeet or trap initially and then transferred over to sporting clays. I think the younger generation, most are all sporting clays from the get-go.
Are you still competing against some of the same guys you did when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Some of my best friends, guys I travel and shoot with around the country, we shot together as teenagers.
What about some of the older guys that you were shooting against? Are they still in the game?
Absolutely. One of the best shooters in the country, John Kruger, who's in his 50s now. I think he just had his 50th birthday. Took a lesson from 18, 19 years ago. He's still one of the best shots in the country, and one of my peers, someone I compete with week in, week out at some of these events.
What separates you as a teacher from other instructors that are out there? We know you're a great shot because you're a California state champ and Zone 7 champ, but what makes you a good teacher?
I think I can explain a lot of this stuff pretty well. I don't have the ego going into it where I think my way's the best. I try to teach people how to break the target 3 or 4 different ways and explain to them why one is better than the other and when and where to apply what. There's a lot to the sporting clay game versus skeet and trap where I think there's a lot more to it. So you never know everything. Okay, I don't go into it thinking that I know everything. I want to learn from my students as much as they want to learn from me.
Is this something that anyone can kind of come and do and pick up, in your opinion?
The game?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think everyone could have fun with it. Obviously, there's some that eyes are a big part of it. If you don't have the vision, I think you'll struggle with it a little more than people that can see real well, but it's something everyone can enjoy, absolutely.
What other accomplishments? Obviously we know you're California champion. Where do you rank, yourself in the United? Well, not yourself, but where do you rank nationwide?
In the United States, somewhere, I don't know, in the top.
Well, you got to know. There's stats out there.
Well, last year I finished 4th in the country. The year before I was 3rd.
And how is that determined? Or is it a point system?
It's an all-American point system based on the whole year, kind of a points race.
So you could say you're one of the top 5 shooters in the nation?
Oh yeah, definitely.
And what about the world?
It's hard to say. We'll know here in 3 weeks. World Championships in San Antonio, Texas this year.
What do you do to keep sharp?
Basically, I think my teaching helps me stay sharp. I'm looking at targets every day. I'm maybe not shooting the gun, but I'm out there looking at it, staying in the game.
You think it hurts your game at all, teaching as much as you do?
I don't think so. For some people, it can. For me, I actually think it helps. Looking at targets, before that tournament last month in that Ducks Unlimited shoot, I hadn't fired a gun in a clay target in 2.5 months. Yet I go into it thinking, do exactly what you tell your students every day and you'll be fine. It works, trust me.
If you had to give some advice to some of the people that are going to be watching this video, what would it be to get involved in the sport, and what would be the best way for them to do it?
Oh, come out to Triple B's. Take a lesson.
Self-promoting?
From me or anybody else.
Okay.
I mean, any of the instructors at Triple B. Make sure you go out and have a good time, have fun doing it. There's not a better sport. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but this is something anyone can come out and do.
Will we see a national championship this year?
We'll see a national championship, hopefully this year.
All right. Thank you for your time, Zach.
Thank you. Pull.
Oh, that was nice.